Hey friends, it's Natasha. So today I'm here to give you a flip through of Notgrass Exploring World History. I have not used this program yet, but you guys should know that I love Notgrass history and I love the Notgrass company. And so we're going to be doing Exploring World History this coming year with both my 9th and 12th graders, and I got talked into teaching this class at our co-op in the fall, assuming co-ops are all back in swing. Anyway, so we've got Exploring World History here. I got the entire set, and so I'm going to show you what we got. I am not including the literature books in this video just because I think those are pretty self-explanatory. They're literature and they're books, so... But if you do happen to want to flip through of those, I'll be happy to do one. I just didn't really think it necessitated a flip through for books. Anyway, so we've got part one here. It's split into two parts because it is so big. So we're just going to flip this open, and it talks about the curriculum package here. Creation through the Middle Ages is part one. We've got the table of contents, how to use this curriculum, advice on writing, assigned literature, and then it gets right in. If you're unfamiliar with this curriculum, Notgrass High School, this is for high school, Exploring World History is for high school, I guess I should say that. They're high school programs. If you do them in totality, if you do them entirely, you can, your student can earn 3 credits, one for history, one for Bible, and one for English, which is basically their writing and their literature assignments. So, but you can do just the history portion, or you could do the history and Bible portion, or you could do all 3, or just history and English. I mean, really however you want, although I will say this is a Christian curriculum, and there really is no way to pull out the Christianity from this curriculum because it is woven in. So while you don't have to do the actual Bible assignments, you can't pull the Bible out of this curriculum, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for a secular curriculum, this would not be it. Okay, so we've got Introduction to World History. Every unit has 5 lessons, so 1 week. Unit 2, the beginning. 3, early civilizations. 4, Abraham and his descendants. 5, God chooses Israel. 6, Israel and her neighbors. 7, Persia. 8, ancient Asia and beyond. 9, Greek civilization. 10, Roman civilization. 11, the central event in history. And 12, the church age. 13, changes in Rome and in the church. 14, the early Middle Ages. 15, the late Middle Ages. I should also mention that Notgrass's programs are 30 weeks long, which is really nice because it gives you some leeway if you need some extra time, or you take vacations, or you only do it 4 days a week, or you know, whatever. It does give you some leeway there. So I really actually appreciate that they're only 30 weeks long. All right, so how to use this curriculum. I'm not going to go through all this, but basically our goals, how it works, and here in the how it works, it explains kind of just what I talked about. There's 3 high school subjects: world history, English, and Bible, 150 lessons, because there's 30 weeks times 5 lessons a week. That's 150 lessons. Since a typical school year has 36 weeks, you have some flexibility, like I just said. Anyway, so it talks about basically what you should do each day, and then it talks about the student review, tips on memorization, unit projects, lesson illustrations, how we present scripture, and thanks. Again, I'm not going to go through all this, but I do advise you to read that when you get it. Then we have advice on writing. So this curriculum, although it includes a credit in English, it doesn't include like grammar and writing instruction, but it does have this right at the beginning. It has this advice on writing. So they also, I've seen them recommend IEW. I think IEW and Notgrass, I think, you know, they're friendly with each other. They like each other and all that. And so you could, you know, use IEW or another writing program if you needed some more instruction on writing. Anyways, it talks about the writing assignments in this course. Each week you do a writing assignment. You will have 2 or 3 possible topics for which to choose. Now, you don't have to do a writing assignment every week, and I'll show you, but there are writing assignments listed. So I'll kind of show you that in a second. But it says the usual target length of your writing project is 300 to 500 words, writing tips, writing habits to avoid, additional suggestions. And then we have writing a research paper basics. There we go. Breaks it down into days even for you. So 20 days to a research paper. So I actually find that pretty helpful. Even gives us a nice little chart here for research schedule. Then we've got the assigned literature here. So The Cat of Bubastes, The Art of War, Julius Caesar, The Imitation of Christ, Here I Stand, A Tale of Two Cities, North and South, The Hiding Place, Animal Farm, Bridge to the Sun, Cry the Beloved Country, and The Abolition of Man. You can buy the complete package with all of this and the literature books, which is exactly what I did on their website, or you can get these from the library, however you want to do it. All right, so then we finally get into Unit 1. And it tells all the lessons here. Gives a little bit of an overview there. All right, and then it has memory work, the books used, and project. You're supposed to choose one. Now, here's how my co-op worked the projects at co-op. They did Exploring America this last year, and basically she separated the kids into groups, and so each group would have a project every few weeks. So like if you were in group A, that means you would individually have a project due, say week 1 for 8, 12, so every couple weeks you'd have a project due. So the kids weren't doing projects together, it's just they didn't do a project every week. So you might want to, even if you're doing it at home, you might want to come up with something like that, like every 3 or 4 weeks you do a project. I mean, really, you can do it however you want, or you can have them do a project every single week. But anyways, of course, if you're going to have the Bible credit, you're going to probably want to have them do the memory work. And then, the project, they're going to choose one. So my daughter always chose the artsy, crafty ones. But, so there's always like an option to do an essay. She never chose that one. And then like this one, create a large poster on poster board that illustrates visually the influence of other cultures on American culture, blah, blah, blah. And then memorize John 1:1-18 in addition to the memory work for the unit. Like that's 18 verses, guys. So that is a huge project. Okay, so my daughter typically did the art ones. Sometimes she did the scripture memorization ones. But there are always, that essay one if your kid likes to write. There you go. Or you could say, okay, I want you to do, an essay every 3rd week, and then an art one every 3rd week, and a memorization one every 3rd week. I mean, you are the parent, you decide how you want to handle it. Okay, so we got lesson 1. So let me kind of show you what a whole lesson looks like. So that is lesson 1. So that's 1 day's reading. Okay, and then we have the assignments here. So for Bible, now obviously if you're going to do the Bible credit, you need to do what it says for Bible. If you're not going to do the Bible credit, then you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so Bible, read John 1:1-18, commentary available in student review, and start memorizing Deuteronomy 10:12-14. Project, choose one of those projects we just talked about, and student review, optional, answer the questions for lesson 1. Now, for me, that is not actually optional, but again, you can decide how you want your child to do it. Okay, so then lesson 2, again, just a couple pages, and then Bible project optional. Okay, so basically every day they're going to have just a couple pages of reading. If you're doing the Bible assignment, they're going to need to do what that says. So they're basically reading passages of scripture and working on their memorization, and they can read the commentary and student review. And then they should be working on their project if they have one that week, depending on whatever you decide. A little bit each day, or the night before it's due, however you decide. And then the student review for each lesson if you want them to do that. Okay, so again, it's just a couple pages each lesson with that same format. Okay, so I'll just flip through a little bit. So, this is high school level, so the text is, smaller than in maybe the elementary books. But I don't think it is too much, even for, a pretty average student. Oh yeah, sometimes, I forgot to say, sometimes there will be in their words assignment, and I'll show you that book too, but that's not all the time. So that's only once in a while there. So, see, here we go. So anyways, let's move into book 2. This is the second half of the school year, and it's part 2, the Renaissance to the present. And again, it's going to follow the same format, but notice here, see, it doesn't have all that, you know, important information on writing and the notes to the teachers and all that. It just has the page and then bam, right into the table of contents, because it's, you know, just a continuation. It's just they would have to hold a huge book if they had this in one. So this has units 16 through 30. So the Renaissance, the Age of Reformation, the Age of Exploration, the Scientific Revolution, the Age of Revolution, the Making of Modern People, Britain, Industry and Empire, a Revolution in Thought, the World at War, the Cold War, the Making of Modern Asia, the Making of Modern Latin America, the Making of Modern Africa, I'm getting tongue twisted here, into the 21st century, and looking backward, looking forward, okay? And then again, we have our unit overview, which has the memory work, the books used. So in this unit, we're gonna be using the Bible, oh, I can't see that, the Bible, In Their Words, and Here I Stand. So if you're choosing to do the literature, you know, it'll always list it there. And then project, choose one. You know, you have an essay here, attend a concert. So that's like the artsy crafty type one. And then conduct further research on Leonardo da Vinci's skill and achievement, create a poster. So, and then the optional research paper. If you plan to write a longer research paper as part of this course, plan with a parent when you will work on it. And again, in the first book, it gives you that plan for your research paper. And then, so it talks about the literature here. And in the next 3 units, you'll be reading Here I Stand, etc. Okay, so got the lesson 1, and then again, same format where assignments in their words, literature, student review. Okay, let's just jump into another lesson, week 18, or unit 18. They're going to be using the Bible in their words, and Here I Stand. Okay. I will mention, okay, so for the literature, you might have to work with your child to exactly assign it, because I do notice throughout the course, when their literature is assigned, it just says continue reading Here I Stand, plan to finish it by the end of this unit. My kid, I know my kids, they'd be like, I don't know how much to read. How much do I read? What do I do? So for my kids, I will be dividing the book up and literally assigning. And I probably will even write in this book. I mean, that's the type I am, so that they will have no question what they're supposed to do. Okay, so, but that's just my kids. Your kids, you know, may not require that, and they can just continue reading like it says. But that is the only thing that's not like really specific, is the literature, like as far as how much each day. So everything else is really specific. Read pages 192 to 194. Answer the questions for lesson 86. It's just that literature gets a little less specific. Or, you know, for the projects, like, but I think for the projects, I think it is good. I never broke that up by day for my daughter. I just knew that she needed to have it ready by the time she went to co-op to present it. And that was a good motivation too, if you're working in a co-op, because they know they have to turn it in. So anyway, that is that. Just my little take on things. Here's another, I'll show you one last example of a, actually, let's just jump back to, and let's go further. Let's see. Okay, we'll go to a beginning of a unit here where, all right, we'll go to unit 24. Okay, it talks about the different lessons. And then this unit, we will be using the Bible in their words and the hiding place. Here's the essay, interview a person, memorize Psalm 46. So, you know, no artsy crafty one exactly in this, but I think the artsy crafty type person typically chooses option 2. That's my point. Okay, so that is that. Of course, we've got all the credits in the back. Then we have that book in their words. This is one of those books that is assigned in the lessons sometimes. And so these are original documents, speeches, poems, and stories from world history. So they've put these in a separate book. So John Wycliffe, Everyman Anonymous, 95 Theses. Okay, So that's what that book is. That's just basically a book of original sources. Okay, then we have the Exploring World History answer key, and this is literally what it says, an answer key. It covers all the lessons and all the quizzes, all the tests, all of it. Okay, so that's the answer key. Each student will need their own quiz and exam book. So these cannot be copied. Okay, so you will need to get your own, each student their own quiz and exam book. Let's see. See here, right here. No part of this material may be reproduced without permission from the publisher. So Unit 1 quiz. So these are just short little quizzes. Okay. And then after every 5 units, there's an exam. Okay. And then okay, let me explain this a little bit more. So the quizzes are just straight history quizzes. It's not going to cover the separate Bible information, and it's not going to cover the literature. Okay, so the quizzes are straight history. Then every 5 units, you have a history exam. So that's our test, okay? At that same time, if you are doing the English portion, you will also take the English exam. So their English grade, I mean, you can do it however you want, but it's going to be largely based on these exams, okay? And then if you're doing the Bible portion, every 5 units, you're going to do a Bible exam. Okay, so again, you're going to have quizzes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If it says unit, whatever quiz, that means it's the history, the main portion. Then after those 5 units, you're going to have a history exam along with an English exam and Bible exam. Okay, so if you're not doing the English and Bible portions, you just don't take those exams. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So a quiz every week, and every 5 weeks, you're going to also have an exam for all 3 subjects. Okay, look at that. Write at least 1 paragraph about why the study of world history is important for their quiz. Okay, so that is that. So every student needs their own one of those. And then we've got the Exploring World History Student Review. Now this, hold on, let me go back here. So we've got review questions, Bible commentary, literary analysis. And then it talks about the quiz and exam book, preparing for quizzes, preparing for exams, and then it talks about the answer key. All right, so it talks about literary analysis a bit here. This is just some background information. So this is, really good if you want to go over this with your students. That was a fiction, and this is literary analysis of nonfiction. So if you are doing this in a co-op class, and if you're doing the literature, whether separate or not, this information could definitely be broken up, or just at home if you want to break this up as far as the literary analysis elements, like if you want to spend some time talking about the antagonist and the scapegoat and around character and climax and symbolism and metaphor, all that, you could definitely incorporate that into your studies. Okay, so what I wanted to show you, is this book is not something that you will necessarily need multiples of if you have multiple kids doing the study, because this is not consumable. So you don't write in this. So you just need like my daughters just have a spiral notebook that they just put all their answers in. They write them down. So if your kids either work together at the same time or they just shared this, that would be totally fine. If you find it easier to have their own, then you could get them their own. But this is not something you necessarily have to have multiples of if you have multiple kids. Okay, so let me show you how this works, actually. I keep turning the page. So we've got the questions, okay? Then we have the commentary on the Bible, okay? So if they weren't doing the Bible portion, they just want to do this, they would just answer the questions. But Notgrass considers this completely optional anyway. So you decide how you want to do it. Okay, so lesson 2, we've got the questions and then the commentary on the Bible. So 10 questions, commentary, 10 questions, commentary. I don't think it changes. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Let me jump to the middle. Let's see. 10 questions. Okay, I guess sometimes there's not commentary. But other than that, doesn't seem... Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, so when there is something from the, in their words, there will be the 10 questions in the history, the questions in their words, if there was that assigned, and then commentary. Sometimes there's not commentary, that maybe they were doing something else for Bible that day or something. But pretty much it follows the same format throughout. I don't think it's ever anything other than 10 questions for the history questions, though. I don't think so. I haven't seen that. So pretty much, yeah, so the literature questions may have different, but not the history questions. History is always 10. And that's how it was in Exploring America, too. It was always 10 questions for the history. So, yep, that's what it is. So, a couple pages a day, 10 questions to answer a day. So you can really, beef this up. It depends on how many components of this you do. It could take you, your student anywhere from maybe, it depends on how fast of a reader they are, maybe 30, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how much they do. This also comes with a little guide. It talks about course descriptions you could write. Talks about the student review pack. Talks about suggestions for grading, writing assignments, maps, and timelines. Oh, I just noticed that. If you want maps besides those ones included in the text, consider materials offered by Geography Matters. Our website has links to some free map resources available online. Also, I'm going to link down below the Homeschool History site that is by Notgrass. Basically, it's a subscription website that you go to, but you can get a trial for free for, I think, 30 days. And you can type in, whatever. You could type in World War I, and it would pull up all, the resources out there as far as, on the internet, and books, suggestions, and, virtual field trips and everything on World War I. And you can type in, more random things, too. Obviously, that's pretty obvious one that would be included on a history website, but I just played around with it, and I was typing in random things to see what it come up with, and it's basically an indexed web search of all these history resources. So anyway, you can check it out for 30 days for free, because I think seeing it yourself will make more sense, but I'll link that down below too. Anyways, then it gives more notes about the literature and alternate literature suggestions. And then for links to other resources, a unit assignment checklist, and ideas for using this curriculum in a co-op or other group, visit notgrass.com/EW links. So there we go. I hope that was helpful, and thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, please let me know down below. Again, I haven't used this course, but I have used their other high school course, Exploring America, so I am familiar with the setup, and it's exactly the same as Exploring America as far as the setup. And so we have successfully finished that one already. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!